welcome back to Let's Play Apollo Justice. We gotta make this quick. We have to get this sorted out real fast. This is it. The big day. Just getting sleep? Yeah, I went to bed after 1 a.m. or so. Oh, what time did you wake up? 3 a.m. That's only 2 hours, Apollo. But at least you had me. And the amazing Mr. Hat. He's looking at you, kid. Good luck today, Apollo. Boys. Hey, get any sleep? Mr. Wright. I was going out of my mind with boredom, so I signed myself out earlier today. Somehow that place makes fake piano playing at the Indochine pasta joint sound almost fun. Daddy, do you know who prosecuted Gavin's witnesses today? Take a guess. How about Little Plum? That's Sherman Tank of a mom? Nope. Guess again. That's too bad, you know. Speaking of moms, you need to find me a new mommy one of these days, Daddy. It's barely morning and I'm already at it, Truce. Okay, see, this is why I don't buy their father-daughter relationship. So, Mr. Wright, do you know who the prosecution's witness is? Alita Tiala, client's fiance. She's going to be a witness? That seems odd. Why don't you testify against her own fiance? You'll have to wonder what Gavin's up to. Something's going down today, that much is clear. Well, not to worry. I got my panties back. If you can't find the killer, I'll put one out of there. Listen, she says some things, and I just don't know how to respond to that. We're now in session with the trial of Walkie Kataki. Defense is ready, Your Honor. Prosecution is warmed up in its sold-out house. Well, to recap, while yesterday's witness seemed more guilty than any other party, guilty of panty snatching, we did find out one thing for certain. There were 3 people in the park at the time of the murder. The witness, the victim, the defendant. Correct, Herr Judge. And today, I'll like to do something a little new age. I like to look at this horrible crime from the outside. The outside? The acquisition of the murder weapon. The preparation for the act. Our poor defendant told all, you see. To his betrothed. His betrothed? His fiancée, Herr Judge. His partner for life. With no chance for parole. Very well. You may show the lucky lady to the stand. Your name and occupation, Fraulein? Alita Tiala. My occupation is future wife. Traditional values. I respect that. Too many brides these days can't even weave best blindfolded, underwater. Yet you're here today as a witness for the prosecution. To be honest, I didn't want to testify at first, but I couldn't hide the truth. Honesty, another admirable trait. Fraulein, is it true that on the day of the crime, the defendant Walkie Kataki confessed his plans? His plans for murder? Yes. The witness will please give his testimony to the murder. Testimony to the court. It was the day that the family health checkup results came back. When Walkie found out Dr. Maractus had lied, he flew into a rage. I'll teach him, he said. He took one of the family's pistols. And you already know what happened that night. I just don't see how anyone but Walkie could have done it. So the pistol did belong to the Kataki family then. Yes, with regards to this, an investigation is underway at the Kataki mansion. On charges of the possession of illegal firearms. The bullet that took the victim's life, was it fired from the pistol the defendant procured? Yes, this has been proven. How can you prove something like that? Bullets carry marks on the barrel and fired on them, called rifling marks. Rifling marks? Think of them as being a gun's fingerprint left on every bullet it fires. And when did you first hear about Walkie's plan? It was the day of the murder. I should have stopped him. I just didn't think he would actually do it. Very well. The defense may begin the cross-examination. Don't make this easy for me, do they? It was the day that the family health checkup results came back. That was the day of the murder, correct? Yes. Everyone in the family received their checkup results that day. When Waki looked at his face went so pale. But of course, he had just found out he had a bullet in his chest. So you were there at the time? Yes. Poor Waki. When Waki found out that Dr. Marcus had lied, he flew into a rage. That must have been quite frightening. He was furious. He ripped up his report into shreds. Incidentally, I had to request another copy to file as evidence. A bothersome chore, but one I performed without complaint. Waki's at an age where he's hard to control when he loses his temper. Of course, that little bit of instability is so cute. Great, now he sounds like a psychopath. I'll teach him, he said. Took one of the family's pistols. So it's that easy to take a pistol out from the house? Not really, I think. There's a system in place to limit access. But Waki's a special case, being the next in line. Perhaps his treatment was a bit too special, yeah? Well, maybe he's a bit spoiled. I hear he got amazing presents for his birthdays. Last year was a switchblade made of chewing gum and a chocolate gravestone. Sounds like he has a taste for sweets and danger. Point here being, Waki had access to a pistol. And you already know what happened that night. What happened? Meaning the murder. I tried to stop him, I really did. But Waki wouldn't listen. A defendant was nothing if not determined, it seems. The last thing you should do is blame yourself. I just don't see how anyone but Waki could have done it. How can you say that for certain? Therefore ahead, you will refrain from badgering the Fraulein. It was the defendant, Waki was it, who took the pistol from his home. We know this for a fact now. Suppose we do. So how could anyone else have used this pistol to shoot the victim? They could not. Simple logic, yeah? That does seem to be the case. Does the defense have anything to say regarding this point? Could someone else have used the pistol? There's someone else. Based on your testimony, there was clearly one other person who accessed that pistol. What's this? Interesting. Let's ask the defense then. Tell the court who this other person whose access was. You. Well, of course, I mean you, Miss Tiala. Me? But why? You were quite clear when you told the court. You heard about the pistol from the defendant on the day of the murder. In other words, you knew what he was planning. Objection! Let me get this straight. You intend to tell us that this lady stole the pistol from her fiancé and killed a man in cold blood on his behalf? I've heard of people doing strange things for love, but this does seem a bit unfathomable, to be sure. I'm all for romance, but for supporting your partner in life, sure. But I think I would hesitate at murder. I'd hope you do more than hesitate. But what if a different connection could be proven? A connection between the witness and the victim. We could find that she had a particular motive beyond wanting to help her fiancé. That would put things in a slightly different light. What possible connection are you suggesting here? You know what I'm starting to think? I'm starting to think that the police never looked inside that safe. I have evidence showing the connection between the witness, Miss Tiala, and the victim. This chart. It looks like a medical chart. Found inside the safe in the Maraxis clinic. I'd like to draw the court's attention to the names written on the chart. What? Miss Tiala, whatever. Why is your name on this chart? Well, can I explain the meaning of this, Miss Tiala? I'm not sure what you mean by meaning, Mr. Justice. Our one little fiancé just froze over. I was on staff at the clinic until half a year ago. I was boring, so I quit. That's all. Is there a problem with that? But Miss Tiala, you're testifying that you had no connection to the victim. And I don't. Now. I quit half a year ago, didn't I? So there's no connection. Let me guess, you're the kind of guy who can't rest until he knows every last detail of his girlfriend's past. Am I right? That's not true at all. I embrace the ones I love, past flaws and all. There's no connection now. Doesn't fly in a court of law. Doesn't fly. Just one tough nut. He probably feels right at home with the Kitakis. You left your job at the Miraculous Clinic, true. But you remain connected somehow. Very well, Mr. Justice. There was evidence that proves the witness is still connected to the Miraculous Clinic. Please be this. These sandals were found in the Miraculous Clinic lobby. They're yours, aren't they? Well, who knows? I'm sure there are lots of people with those sandals. So sorry, Fraulein, but your act isn't working. Your moment of hesitation just now cost you. What is with you? I thought you were on my side. Perhaps you are unaware that toes leave toe prints. A simple analysis of these sandals will reveal all. Well, now we see your true colors. I was wrong to cooperate with you from the beginning. I just wanted you to help to get Walkie back out of the straight and narrow. Core thinks you need to worry less about Walkie, more about yourself. It sounded as though we need to hear a bit more of your story. Your sandals were found at the entrance to the clinic, which means you went there on the day of the murder. Well, there's little point in denying it. Very well then. The witness will tell us about the visit. Where did you go to the Miraculous Clinic that day? I did go to the clinic that day. My first time in half a year since I quit in January. I went to warn him. After all, I knew Walkie had the pistol. The doctor always said this was a timid man. Too timid to admit his own mistake. Why else would I have gone? I'm not hiding any dark secrets. I wanted to tell him to be careful. It's an old friend. By mistake, you mean? The mistake we heard about from the defendant? The botched operation? He was a timid small man. I never wished him harm. I just thought I should let him know. You know? Huh. It does make sense. Yes, but there's still one thing which does not. What's that, Mr. Prosecutor Gavin? The sandals left at the lobby, of course. We could assume she wore these sandals to the clinic, ja? Why did she not wear them home? If it were me, I would have worn them home. I would have worn those sandals home too. So why were the sandals left behind? You pointed out the contradiction before me. There's probably a good explanation for this, right, Miss Tiala? Say, for instance, there happened to be a similar pair of sandals there which you wore home by mistake. Actually, that's right. I'm impressed, Mr. Gavin. Oh, it is nothing. There is, after all, no other possible explanation. Ja, forehead. Oh, what? No fair. He's filling the holes in her testimony. Defense may begin the cross-examination. All right. I did go to the clinic that day. My first time in half a year since I quit in January. Around what time did you go to the clinic? I don't remember exactly, but it was after 9:30, I think. And that was the first time you contacted Dr. Miraculous in half a year? Of course it was. Peter wasn't the kind of boss he made friends with. So why did you go to the clinic that day? I went to warn him. After all, I knew Waki had the pistol. Did you want Dr. Maractus to run away? Yes, after I failed to stop Waki. I thought that was the only other way to avoid the problem. Couldn't you have called? Why go in person? I called several times that evening, but no one was in. The victim was so busy driving home until after 9 p.m. that night, remember? This is proven by the mirror yesterday, Ja? I thought if I warned him, he would run away for sure. Knowing the doctor. The doctor always was a timid man. Timid to admit his own mistake. You mean the act of malpractice on Waki, correct? If he just told Waki the truth in the beginning, none of this would have happened. True. The operation was the start of this whole affair. Oh, of course, if he told him, he might have been erased by the Kitakis much earlier. Disturbing thought. We know the Maractus Clinic had ties to the Kitaki family. He probably couldn't have gone to the police even if he wanted to. Why, I knew I had to warn him. Why else would I have gone to hide? If I'm not, that's what I have gone. I'm not hiding any dark secrets. No dark secrets, huh? What? Look at me however you want, Mr. Justice. You won't find a thing. She's hiding something, I know it. I must have some evidence that proves it, too. You're free to think whatever you like. I wanted that clinic with only one thought in my mind. I wanted to tell him to be careful. It's an old friend. But then you'd be betraying Waki, wouldn't you? No, I did it for him. For us. She went to warn him so that her fiancé would not have to commit such crimes, Ja. I didn't want them to take my Waki away. No way she went to the clinic just to warn him. You know why she went, Apollo? I'm trying to figure out what really happened the night clinic. Fast. I think she did it. What else would she have gone? The bullet, the safe. The chart! This chart was found inside a safe in the doctor's office. Yes. Why would this one chart be in that safe? Miss Tiala, you know why it was, wasn't? You know why it was, didn't you? Mind filling me in? Dr. Maractus didn't have the leisure of making mistakes. That's why he wrote up a false report and kept it, the truth locked away. Bad hair, Doctor. And that is why you came in, Miss Tiala. The nurse who filed the chart was you, which means you knew about Waki's failed operation. Interesting. You were the same position as Dr. Maractus. Kind of makes it hard to claim no connection, doesn't it? You're bold for a novice, I'll give you that. Mr. Justice, you must know I was only a nurse. The doctor was responsible for the chart's contents. The chart's business seems to be quite important. Please amend your testimony accordingly. Too bad, little attorney. Bracelet's reacting again. What is it, Apollo? I felt my bracelet vibrate just now. Your bracelet? Just like yesterday, like you said. Witness is unsure of something, their nervous habit gives them away. I can't see anything, Apollo. What? Then what's my bracelet reacting to? Wait, maybe... It has to be it. What has to be it? Your senses, Apollo. They must be sharper than mine. Huh? I can't see it, but you can sense it. I don't know about that, Trucy. I don't have some kind of special power or anything. Listen to me, Apollo. There's a weak point somewhere in Miss Tiala's testimony. But we don't know what her nervous habit is. Now, what do we do? You have to perceive it yourself, Apollo. With your eyes, your senses. It's up to me to my bracelet. I don't know why, but the bracelet helps. Somehow, touching it helps me focus. Shoot a shot and bring down a testimony. Why would I go to the clinic now for half a year chart? Alright. He's hiding something.
Why would I
Faces are full of lies.
go to the clinic now?
She's twiddling with her ring. That's it. She's nervous about what's going to happen to Waki particularly. Gotcha! Why go to the clinic for half a year old chart now, you ask? But you know why you would go now, don't you? I don't know what you're talking about. It's quite clear, Miss Tiala. You have a nervous habit. The moment you said the word now, you used your right thumb to fiddle with your ring. What? You were unsure. Saw it. Now. That's the key word. The chart wasn't a part of your past. It was a clear present threat. That's ridiculous. If that were the case, I would have had 6 months to do something about it. Indeed. Which means something happened quite recently. Something to make that chart problem for you now. Got her on the ropes now. Feel it. Time to strike the killing blow. Evidence. Miss Tiala, there's no use trying to hide it. The chart became a threat to you now because this. A health checkup report belonging to the defendant. The Kitakis are trying to get out of the business. The health checkup this month was their first ever. What did you think when you heard about this? Nothing. Why should I think anything? Oh, I think you were positively beside yourself. You said because you were afraid. You knew that Waki's chest x-ray would reveal. A full half year had passed since the operation. You thought you were home free. When the truck came back to haunt you. That's all, Your Honor. What just happened? Did the witness just admit to lying? I sensed it. There was a great aura emanating from her forehead. Very cool. So the lady was lying, it seems. That's correct. She said she had no connection to the Miraculous Clinic. But her connection was deep indeed. A bit too deep. If the Kitaki's got a hold of this chart with her name, she'd be finished. Isn't that right, Miss Tiala? You guessed it. Order! Order! I broke her testimony. Easy, Apollo. I didn't see it at all. I was right about you. Wait! Miss Tiala? It's true that chart was bad news for me. That's why I went to meet the doctor that day. That's all. I told him about Waki and went home. It appears this cross-examination is far from over. What? She hid the truth from us, this is clear. Yet, this is not clear that this truth has anything to do with the case at hand. Very well. The witness will add this to her testimony. And we'll have a bit more cross-examination. So close. You're still close. Keep on her, Apollo. Nothing happened at all. I warned him and left. Hold it! How did Dr. Miraculous respond to the warning? Oh, he was quite surprised. Panicky, even. Who wouldn't be scared to learn that Kitaki was after them? Incidentally, this court is not afraid of any mobsters. Why, we even had a life-threatening situation just yesterday, right here in this courtroom. Yeah, real impressed with the way you stood up and attacked the amazing Mr. Hat, sir. After which I carried you back to your chambers. Sounds like the judge had quite a fright. Nothing happened in Dr. Moran's office that day, huh? What about the mess we found? Something definitely happened in that office, Apollo. I know. But we can't prove when it happened. Not that Alita Tiala was in any way involved. Well, let's try putting some evidence up anyway. The way she went to the clinic just to warn him. You know why she went, Apollo? Trying to figure out what really happened to that clinic. Fast. I think I know what happened and the extent. You didn't go to warn him. Nothing happened. Other than, there's only two things I know happened. A shot was fired to the inside of the safe. And this lamp is broken. It has blood. This evidence clearly reveals a contradiction in what statement, Your Honor. How is that the evidence of the statement just now related? They aren't, are they? Not at all. Justice, please think the facts over before making accusations. Alright, let's go for the more obvious one. You say nothing happened in the doctor's office. I disagree. Take a look at this. What's that? It looks like a squished up ball of clay. Kind of like you, actually. This bullet was found in the Miraculous Clinic office. Something did happen in that office, Miss Tiala. Objection! Enough of this joking around. The police investigated that clinic. Objection! Ah, but this was stuck inside the doctor's safe. Inside the safe? I guess the police didn't check that far. Objection! But there is a problem. How can you say the bullet was fired on that day? Objection! Weren't you the one who explained rifling marks to us? The pistol was taken from the Kitaki mansion that day. But the marks of this bullet matched the murder weapon. Then that proves a firearm was discharged in that office on the day of the murder. Not bad, Forehead. Bailiff, have this bullet analyzed immediately. 30 minutes later, the report arrives. The rifling marks on both bullets are identical. Well, it seems as though the bullet in the safe was fired from the murder weapon. Perhaps the defense would like to state their position. The bullet in that safe proves one fact. A pistol was fired in the office on that day. And at the time of the firing, the safe was open. The safe which contained their top secret chart. Do you think someone was threatening Dr. Maractus in order to open the safe? The only person who... Well, only one person was in a position to do such a thing. Our witness, Alita Tiala. Order! Mr. Justice, where are you going with this? Are you accusing the witness? Alita Tiala knew about Kitaki's botched operation. She got engaged with him without telling him about it. As long as the bullet remained in his chest, his days were numbered. What if she married him, and then the bullet finally reached its destination? What? That reminds me. Apparently, the Kitakis have been asserting themselves in lawful business practices. They're making quite a great deal of money. A fortune, if you will. They're fairies. She planned to marry him just to get her hands on his fortune? Objection! You keep talking trash about my Alita. I'll sue you, lawyer man. What? Me? Yeah. You said you'd abuse my Alita. I think you mean accuse. That ain't different. You can't have her. She's mine. Who's me? I shot the doctor. Me. You left me to die, so I left you to die too. They're in that park. Waki, just cool down a second. You and you keep your hands off my leader out. Miss Tiala? I'm sorry. It's been so long since I've laughed so hard. Something funny? Waki, wake up and smell reality. Alita baby? The signature on that chart, the engagement. I mean, come on, it's so obvious. Even for a brainless, spoiled brat such as yourself. Alita? Your honesty is like a breath of foul air, Fraulein. Hey, I wasn't getting out of this clean anyway. So the family fortune is what you're really after. And that's right. I wanted the money. No way! That's whack! I ain't trying to hear that. Should have done the wedding earlier. Oh well. And by the way, can I ask you a question? Who, me? I believe you said you were going to abuse me. Accused. Of what crime, might I ask? Huh? Oh, I'm a bad girl, sure. I get close to that brat because I wanted his money. But he was the one with the pistol. He could have fired it into the safe after all. I already left the clinic. What? I would never do something like that. It was definitely that silly brat. Wait, but... what are you talking about? Seriously? You had the most to lose if the shot was found. But I didn't have a pistol now, did I? Well, you could have taken walkies. Do you think he'd have mentioned that now? All I've heard him say was it was me, I shot him. That's only because he's trying to protect you. Sorry to intrude in this lovely conversation. But the two of you are forgetting one critical point. What point? Certainly the Fraulein wanted that shot. You assume she threatened the doctor into opening that safe, but then... wouldn't she have taken the chart? Oh. You see? The chart wouldn't have been left in that safe. That... he's right. Miss Diallo? Yes? It is clear to this court you're not a very good fiancé. Oh, I'm flattered. Perhaps it is time you told us the truth? Tell us about yourself, including your actions and whereabouts on that day. Don't forget, we've proven that you were at Maractus Clinic on the day of the crime. Yes, I went to the clinic the day to speak to the doctor. I wanted that chart, but I failed to get it, so I went back to the clinic later. In any case, I didn't shoot him. You don't have proof I stole a pistol, do you? That brat was spotted in the park at the moment of the crime. Frankly, I don't think it matters if Dr. Maractus was shot in the temple or not. You went back later? That chart was dangerous, you understand. I need to get rid of it. That's why I went to that day. But you couldn't get the chart then, could you? And later that night, Dr. Maractus was shot. I heard about the shooting, waited a day, but then I had to go back. No easy feat with the cops all over the place. That was you? Apollo, that sound! You were behind the door! Someone's in there! Break-in! Through the window! So you were the burglar! That was you too? If only I had one more minute. Then I could have opened the safe and gotten the chart. What? That's trespassing! And brazen at that! Oh, is this a trial for trespassing now? Besides, you can't blame a girl for wanting to protect herself. They're gangsters, you know. In any case, Mr. Justice, your cross-examination. Admitting a little crime to avoid a big one, huh? Alright then. Yes, I went to the clinic that day to speak to the doctor. Why that day? The brat was uncontrollable. He was ready to kill. And that would bring in the police. And that chart would become evidence. And I'd be hung out to dry. But the police didn't check the safe, did they? Well, they thought the crime scene was the park. I'll make sure the responsible parties feel the heat. Such sloppiness won't be tolerated, yeah? I'm kind of thankful for the sloppiness myself, actually. I wanted that chart, but I failed to get it. So I went back to the clinic after. We went to the clinic later. Later? When I heard what happened, well, I was too scared to do anything that day. So I waited until the day after. The 16th, was it? Of course, you and that meddling kid had to get in my way. But why did Dr. Maractus keep the chart around? It was clearly dangerous for him. Could have burned it. Because he's a coward. The chart was his insurance. Insurance? My signature on that chart, to be more specific. So I made sure I couldn't betray him. In any case, I didn't shoot him. You don't even have proof I stole the pistol, did you? You could have stolen it. could have? Is this some new definition of proof? Well, ask Guaki, he'll tell us. Might I remind you, this is a cross-examination. You might want to keep your baseless theories to yourself. That is hearsay. Ugh, he's right, isn't he? And that brat was spotted in the park at the moment of the crime. Yeah, but what? You have nothing to say. This case is over. It was over the moment the brat was seen in the park. What's the point of dragging it out any further? Frankly, I don't even think it matters if he was shot in the temple or not. The doctor was shot in the right temple, yes? So it seems. Let's review the facts again, shall we? If the killer shot from this location, the bullet would have struck our victim square in the forehead. However, the entry wound was in the right temple. Yes, we had the testimony of this yesterday. At the time of the shooting, the witness was standing here. Just before the gun was fired, he shouted. The victim turned his head to look. He was shot. But that testimony is proven to be a lie. The egregious panty snatcher, Mr. Stickler, did witness the crime. You're standing to the north, next to the trash can when he tossed those panties. Mr. Stickler shot from this location, the bullet couldn't hit his right temple. Silly, silly attorney. What? Do you remember what you would have for breakfast this morning? Do you remember, Trucy? I only have a glass of milk for breakfast. What matters is one thing: the doctor was shot in the right temple. If that's the case, there can only be one explanation. The panties guy was mistaken. Objection! But his location was proven. You can't write that off as being mistaken. Objection! Then why don't you show us that forehead? Show you? What? Must I explain everything? Very well, let's recap. If the witness, Panty's guy, was standing to the north, then where was the shooter standing? From what location did the killer shoot the victim? But wait, if the victim was standing there, how could anyone shoot the victim in the right temple? I merely laid out the facts for us. It's up to the one possessing the shiny forehead to show us. If you can, that is. Guaki Kitaki was standing in the killer mark. Wesley Stickler is the witness. And of course, Palmeraxis is the victim mark. Let's hear what the defense has to say. Where was the killer standing when they shot the victim? They weren't standing on either mark. As the facts stand now, we can't explain this crime without contradicting ourselves at some point. But I know why. The real killer shot from an entirely different location. What are you talking about? I don't see any other place. But apparently, Mr. Justice does. You are not a lawyer. You're a witness. Specifically, a killer. And that will prove it. The killer... It's time to raise the roof and the stakes. Huh? Penalties are such frightening things, don't you think? But what if they were a bit more terrifying? Like so. Double penalty. If Forehead wishes to take us to a new direction, then we must be ready for the challenges ahead. Challenge accepted. It's justice time. Are you sure, Apollo? The key is the witness, Mr. Stickler's testimony. We believe that, and we know where he stood. And the victim turned when he shouted. There's only one place the killer could have been. The killer shot the victim from here. I believe we all owe a debt of gratitude to Miss Alita Tiala. What do you mean? Thanks to you, we had a chance to review the crime. And this time, we were prepared. We knew that Wesley Stickler was telling the truth. We should have listened to him from the beginning. Wesley Stickler was standing next to the trash can when he saw the two men. He shouted, just as he told us in his testimony. And the victim turned to look in his direction. A shot was fired. The victim was hit in the right temple. Oh no. Oh yes. Which direction was his right temple facing at that moment? That's right, towards the noodle stand. Order! Order! So you're saying the killer was inside the noodle stand? Objection! Let's think about this a bit more, shall we? You say the killer was inside the noodle stand, which would mean the victim, Dr. Maractus, came to the park, wheeling his own murderer in the cart behind him. That's the most ridiculous thing I've ever heard. You get noticed if you're pulling someone along. There's something we should worry about before that. Why was he pulling the noodle stand in the first place? Let's deal with our problems one at a time, shall we? Someone was hiding in the stand. We have not come this far to talk about possibilities. Let's talk about proof, baby. Show us evidence that proves someone was in the stand. Can I prove that? What evidence that someone was in the stand? I got your evidence here. Got it right here. Intriguing. Let's see what you got. Proof someone was hiding in the noodle stand. The bowl. Thoughts, Prosecutor Gavin? You have a choice between heaven or hell. Either our brains are damaged or our forehead is... I wonder which it is. We'll find Mr. Justice's brain faulty. A majority vote. I'm gonna pick someone else. Okay, did I skip a thing? Proof someone was hiding in the noodle stand. Please be this. The Maractus Clinic. And they're covered with paint. The slippers are found in the trash can near the crime scene. And a single slipper print was found at the scene. Right next to the noodle stand. Oh, and Miss Tiala, your toe print was found in the left slipper. In other words, this is proof you were inside the noodle stand. No. Objection. Yet there was only one slipper mark found at the scene. Can this be called a footprint in good faith? Objection. Observe the diagram. The park pathway right next marks right next to the slipper mark. A slipper wouldn't leave a trace of the cobblestone path. Objection. Yet you still cannot say there's a footprint, yeah? Why not? You have an impression left by a single slipper. What if it was on the stand and simply fell to the ground? Objection! That's just dumb. One more thing. A noodle stand is typically cluttered with the tools of the noodle making trade. There's no room for a person to ride in there. You have a point. Could someone have hidden in the stand? Hello, I think I might be onto something. Huh? I think I figured out one of our pieces of evidence. In order to make room for the stand, things would have to be... Oh, Mr. Justice, you have proof someone could have hidden the stand. I can prove one thing. Someone did scheme to clear space in that stand. The bowl. This is a noodle bowl from the stolen Eldoon's Noodles noodle stand. Yes, and what about it? We discovered a large quantity of these bowls yesterday in the lobby of Maractus Clinic. A large quantity of noodle bowls in the victim's clinic. Mr. Eldoon was very clear about these bowls. Well, I don't care who did it. But at that stand, I'm finished. All my noodle bowls were in there too. Yet the bowls were removed. That night, there was space inside the noodle stand. Space created at the Miraculous Clinic, no less. Right around the time you were there, Miss Alita Tiala. Stop! I won't listen to any more of these wild fantasies. Not fantasies. They're worse lies than spoiled brats pickup lines. I would like to remind the witness of her current state. The court does not consider you entirely innocent. Show me an innocent. I'll show you a fairy tale. In any case, the defense has somehow made its point. The witness had both a motive and an opportunity to kill Dr. Maractus. More fairy tales. This whole trial's a fairy tale. Then please pull us back down to reality, Miss Tiala. I'm giving you one last chance to explain yourself. This is it. Why was Dr. Maractus pulling the stand that night? And why was Alita Tiala doing inside? Time to get to the bottom of this case. That night, I went to ask Dr. Maractus for the chart. I had no intention of ever letting that chart fall into the Kitaki family's hands. But Dr. Maractus didn't understand. For some reason, he thought the Kitakis had sent me. So I gave up and went home. All I did was talk to him. You knew about the botched operation? So you tried to get rid of the chart to save yourself. I won't make excuses. And I did warn the good doctor. I gave him a chance. I told him that Brat got his health checkup report. And that he was coming to settle the score. I see. Very well. Mr. Justice, begin your cross-examination. Yes, Your Honor. The last testimony. Either I perceive the truth, or it's over. It seems she has acquired a new habit. That night, I went to ask Dr. Maractus for the chart. So you did go to steal the chart. Were you listening? I said I asked him for it. The victim was a man of good health. Does see how she could have forced it. True, would have been impossible without a pistol. What if she did have a pistol? I'll admit I wanted the chart. How much is true? My reason was simple. I had no intention of ever letting that chart fall into the Kitaki family's hands. It certainly would be put a damper on your wedding plans, I'd say. Not only that, if the Kitaki had gotten the chart, I'd probably be with Dr. Maractus now, pulling the Great Noodle Stand in the sky. It seems our witness was in a fix as well. Who would want to die pulling a noodle stand? When I die, I would like to be by disappearing mysteriously in the middle of a magic act. Can we be a little less morbid, please? You see, I needed that chart. Dr. Maractus didn't understand. He didn't understand? He wouldn't listen to a word I was saying. The moment he saw me, he started to tremble. I thought, the sad excuse for a man. Please don't smile like that anymore. It's creepy. He was practically delusional. For some reason, he thought the Kitakis sent me. They sent you? He thought the Kitakis had sent me to get the chart. It makes some sense. You are their son's fiancé. Don't make me laugh. The Kitakis send me. They don't play that way. If they'd known about that chart, they would have gone in there with guns blazing. But I couldn't convince the trembling doctor otherwise. So I gave up and went home. All I did was talk to him. Is that really all that happened? Or what were all those noodle bowls doing there? How should I know? There weren't any bowls when I went, I know that much. Why don't you just let me be even looking for killer someplace else, alright? Did I detect uncertainty there? This is my last chance. Apollo, any word from your bracelet? Yeah, actually. I felt it respond. I couldn't see a thing. It's up to you now, Apollo. And to perceive the truth comes justice. So I gave up and went home. All I did was talk to him. I'm not so sure. To picked up a new habit.
So I gave up
She's been fiddling with her scarf.
and went home.
Her ring is now perfectly fine,
All I did
but she's been fiddling
was talk
with
to
the scarf
him.
on her neck. I think I now understand exactly what happened. Gotcha! All I did was talk and lie. What? Show me proof. I'm pretty sure about this one. I think I'm getting the hang of this. Little slip of confidence and they give it all away. The proof is you, Miss Tiala. All I did was talk to him, you claim. Yet you can't hide your own nervous twitch when you say those words. My twitch? What are you talking about? You have a habit of scratching your area of your neck around with the edge of your scarf. What? It's working better than I hoped. Her unconscious actions tell the truth she won't say. Her habits and lies are two dots. Connect the dots and find the truth. Don't look at me like that! I told you the truth! It seems that when you recall what really happened in that office, you can't keep your hands off your neck, can you? It's the nervous habits, or unconscious reactions that manifest when someone is trying to hide something. You can't hide behind your scarf, Miss Tiala. Something happened between you and the victim in the Marcus Clinic office. I've got proof that shows exactly what happened. This lamp. What's that? You're touching your scarf again. There's something unusual about this lamp. The bulb is broken, and there's a red splotch on the cord. Huh? Seeing how you hide your neck, I think I can come up with a plausible explanation for this lamp's state. Spit it out! This talking in circles, nothing is killing me! Very well. The answer is very simple. Miss Alita Tiala, please remove your scarf! This is a trial to determine what happened in the park. Yet we seem to have drifted off target. Objection! We'll find out soon enough if we're drifting. As soon as the witness removes her scarf. I won't do it. This is insane. I'm running for a party. You can't order me to remove my clothes. Miss Tiala, I'm afraid you've forgotten what's already been proven. What? You're hardly unrelated. Please remove your scarf. No! No! I knew it! I was right, wasn't I, Miss Alita Tiala? Your neck isn't what I think it is. Something did happen that night at the Miraculous Clinic. You needed to get that chart back no matter what it took. Even if you had to steal your fiance's pistol to do it. But wait! Looking at this lamp, the witness's neck, it looks like the very opposite happened. Exactly. The victim in the clinic that night was this witness. Specifically, you tried to threaten Dr. Miraculous and he attacked you. That's what happened that night at the Miraculous Clinic.
No!
Order! Order! Will someone please tell me what really happened? I told you the truth already. I went to the clinic that night to warn Dr. Miraculous. Gangster knows everything. He's coming for you. My clinic's seen his last patient. You gotta get rid of that chart. Quick, open the safe. Give it to me. You can save your own skin. What? I know what you're up. You want it in the family. They see that chart, you're finished. Leaving me holding the short straw. If I'm going down, I want some company. You! And what happened next? He jumped at me. He knocked me to the floor. Then he took the cord. Amaractus was serious. Deeply serious. He really tried to strangle me. I must have blacked out. So, you were the victim. And the red splotch on the cord was your lipstick. I didn't want to remember that night. That's why I didn't bring it up. There, are you happy now? That? I was out cold, almost killed. And you claim I been stuck into the noodle stand? But how could I? What? Well, one thing is clear. We now know what really happened to the Maractus Clinic. It would seem that our pal was not entirely without blame himself. I'm sorry. I get so nervous just thinking of it. It's hard to breathe. I've told you everything. Can I go home now? You bear some responsibility for events that day, true. Yet if you were also a victim, this court would owe you some sympathy. Well, Mr. Justice, I believe this clears up the remaining questions for Miss Tiala. When did this happen? Suddenly everyone's sympathizing with her. I don't know what to think anymore, Apollo. I mean, is that it? Do we know everything we need to know about Miss Tiala? Very well, this brings us to the cross-examination of this.
Objection!
Huh? He beat me to it. Not so fast. This party is just getting started. Now we rock. What? The spikes on your head are softer than they look. Or do you not have the stomach to go all the way? Prosecutor Gavin? Amaractus choked Alita Tiala. Then she fell out conscious. But what happened next? He's right. There is more we don't know. But she was choked hard enough to leave the mark. She would have been out for a while. But even still, what was it with her in the noodle? What if it was her in the noodle stand? Alita Tiala half dead, Dr. Maractus pulling the stand. And a bullet fired from inside the noodle stand. What if it was all true? We might have already figured out what truly happened that night. Miss Alita Tiala, as you can see, we're not through with you just yet. You really want to blame me for this murder, don't you? You too, Prosecutor Gavin. Me? Frontline, I only wish to know the truth. Well, let's go back over what we've learned up till now. On the day of the murder, Rocky saw his checkup report, from which he learned about the bullet still inside him. So he took a pistol from the family stash, with the intent to give Dr. Maractus some of his own medicine. Miss Tiala heard about this from Rocky, so she went to the Maractus clinic ahead of him, in order to get rid of the chart with her signature. But then, something happened. Sounds like you figured it all out. But remember, I was the victim. I was out cold. But what about Dr. Maractus? That does seem to be a problem. He just strangled Alita Tiala. Perhaps he thought to death. What did he do after his crime? He just knocked out. I don't know. I was just knocked out, not dead. In the state of his clinic and the scene of the park, I think it's clear what the good doctor did next. Well, Forehead, care to guess? Well, Justice, what did Dr. Maractus do? Maybe he did think he killed Alita Tiala. I have evidence to show what he did next. Did he shoot this? The evidence shows what he did next. Shows what, Forehead? Smiles sort of sick desperation to it, Justice. What, the smile? Okay. Oh. He stole the stamp. I thought the bullet was him. Next move, Dr. Maractus stole Guy Eldune's noodle stand. What, killing me disturbed him that much? So he just randomly stole a noodle stand? It wasn't so random. Remember all the bowls in the clinic foyer? Bowls that belonged inside the stand? I think it's pretty obvious, don't you? That stand was at the clinic. However, the question is, why did he remove the bowls? Maybe because the stand was heavy? Or he wanted to put something in the stand in their place. Wait, you don't mean... I do. Dr. Maractus did replace those bowls with something. Your corpse, Miss Tiala. My corpse? Dr. Maractus panicked. He thought he'd killed you. His next move would be to dispose of the body. That's crazy talk! You're all crazy! Then let's think about it. Logically, the doctor had a place to dispose of you in mind. But on his way there, who would he run into but the defendant, Waki Kitaki? I question your logic. Was this Prosecutor Gavin? The park is a dead end. Why would he lead to the direction to begin with? That's right. He had no reason to go there. Oh, now I get it. There's a trick. The spoiled brat made him do it. He made the doctor steal the stand. Tell me, why would someone go to a dead end? Unless the park was his destination. What? Apparently, the defense has an idea. Tell us where Dr. Maractus was heading to with the stand. Here, point it on the diagram. He was not going to a dead end. He was doing it classic style. That's a river! Yes, Your Honor. I scarcely need to explain why. Perfect place to dispose of a body. He was going to throw me in the river? He didn't have any other options, Fraulein. I believe this clears up all the remaining questions. The victim pulling the stand and the defendant before him. And inside the stand, you, Miss Alita Tiala. And then, the denouement. Wesley Stickler of panty snatching fame walks up. Seeing the two men, he shouts. In that instant, so, I shot him? You were the only one who could have stolen Waki's pistol. It would have to be you. Well, Miss Tiala? Nice work. You mean I'm right? I mean you've done a fine job dreaming up a story to get that spoiled brat off the hook. You're the one who's dreaming. Paul has backed up everything he said with facts. If you're so sure he's making it up, give us another reason. Why was Dr. Maractus pulling the stand through the park? Who knows? But there's one gaping hole in your logic. I think Mr. Gavin knows whereof I speak. Whereof what? I can't believe she's still trying to deny this. True, Prosecutor Gavin? Must they always be the one? Point out F4head's errors? Ah, maybe there is really something. I believe the Fraulein speaks of her doctor's car. His car? That's right. The Maractus clinic had the big garage. Which sat a green sports car, was it? Why would he steal the stand in the first place? If he wanted to carry a body, he would have used his car. Ah. Do we find a victim without probable cause to steal the stand? And our defense without a case? I have an idea. I know the green car. I bet it wouldn't run. It was broken. What an excellent counter-argument, Fraulein. Too bad you're quite wrong. Don't tell me you've forgotten what happened to your daddy. Daddy? That's right! That night, the car that hit Mr. Wright was that green sports car. Oh yeah, I nearly forgotten about that. Afterward, he drove it back to the garage. It ran fine. That's right. Why didn't he use the beloved sports car, A glaring contradiction, to be sure. More glaring than your forehead. No. No! Order! Oh, Mr. Justice? Why didn't Dr. Maractus use his car to carry the body? Is that a groan of surrender I hear? Some advice. Now's a good time to review all you know. Everything you've learned over the last 2 days. Everything I've learned? Mr. Justice, this contradiction casts doubt on your entire case. It's truly your last chance. Defense will explain to us what happened that night. The car didn't run. I have an idea. It's all coming together. That night, Dr. Maractus couldn't use his car. Now you're making even less sense than usual. Not according to my information, Miss Tiala. Put 1 and 1 together, and the explanation is simple. If it's so simple, perhaps you could show us some evidence. Show us proof why the car wouldn't run that night. The panties. Let's see now. Panties again? All sorts of things come out of my panties. Even the truth. Another crime was committed the night of the murder. The theft of those panties. The latest in a string of similar thefts, actually. But that night, the snatcher was caught in the act. A brave young girl chased the thief until he hid in the Maractus Clinic garage. What? The snatcher hid the panties there before running. Perhaps someone in this court remembers where he hid them? Why? Weren't they found in the car's exhaust pipe? Exactly. By the way, I learned something yesterday. A very important piece of information. And I learned it from you, Prosecutor Gavin. So you were here investigating? And I was on my way home. My hog gave up the ghost. Your hog? My motorcycle won't start. Clogged exhaust pipe. Too bad. Looked like such a nice bike, too. Hard to believe that it could break from just that. Cars, motorbikes, they're all the same. Clog the exhaust, they won't run. How interesting. While Miss Tiala and the doctor were struggling, the panty snatcher snuck into the Maractus garage. For that time, until the time he found these, that car would start. What? I thought Dr. Maractus had to use the noodle stand. It was the next closest thing he could think of. Well, Miss Tiala, this wraps your doubts up quite nicely, I think. So it does. Where am I? So dark. Can't see. Cramped. The pain. Burning. What's your problem? You, Doc. I know what you did. You lied to me. You know what I'm gonna do to you? I'm gonna give you a taste of your own medicine, man. Wait, let me explain. Fine, I'll give you your last request. Listen, you've been tricked, but not how you think. It's not just me. No. He'll ruin everything. I have to stop him. He just wants you to. Funny. This isn't the way it was supposed to turn out. Oh well. Too bad. There's still one mystery. How did you manage to disappear from that stand? In the silence after the shot, I heard the witness running. I believe we heard as much from Wesley Stickler. He went to use a public phone to inform the police, which is when I made my escape. Which is when you left that slipper print. Dr. Miraculous didn't bother taking my slippers off. I threw them out after I stepped on the paint, though. That was your mistake. No, my biggest mistake was coming to you for help, Mr. Justice. Huh? I believed in you. You and your anything agency. If anyone would get Walkie declared guilty, it was you. I believe we've reached the conclusion, Sorts. Prosecutor Gavin, how is Miss Alita Tiala doing? She's confessed to everything. We're processing her arrest now. Prosecutor Gavin sure seems calm for someone who just lost. I think he already knew. He figured out she was the killer a while ago. Some advice. Now's a good time to review all you know. Everything you've learned over the last 2 days. He lost. But I didn't exactly win either. Something the matter at forehead. Looks like it's time to renounce the verdict. Not guilty. What is the adjourn? It's not the most satisfying ending. Good job, Apollo. You did it. Yeah, we did. Somehow. Walkie's off the hook. Free to become a gangster he always wanted to be. And he has you to thank. Attorney Man! You gonna pay for what he did about Alita Holmes. Or to blame, I guess. Give Alita back! She was pointing at Attorney with a death wish. Enough, Wacky! Mr. Kataki. Is that time you opened your eyes, Wacky? What do you know, man? I think it's about time you open yours. Giving up the life, trying to be some kind of businessman? Don't talk about you don't understand, Wacky. I'm afraid the guard is going to throw them both out. If not in jail, wouldn't that be a happy ending? Maybe we can help him out. We know why Mr. Kataki needs to make so much money. Maybe we can tell Wacky. Oh, Wacky, Apollo has something to tell you. I do? Way to put me on the spot. Huh? What's that? Tell the real reason why, Apollo. Why is Mr. Kataki trying to become a businessman? Easy. Because of this. Think about it, Wacky. Think about your condition. I talked with your mother, Lil Plum, yesterday. It pays, but we need a lot of money right now. Clean money, that is. She doesn't mean... You aren't really... Are you? I searched the globe, and I found one. A doctor who could take that bullet out of your work. But it's an expensive procedure. Man, but you got plenty of money already, don't you? I won't use it. It was the gangster life that did this to you, Wacky. I want to help you, and I want to do it clean. Please understand, Wacky. Dad. Man, I see how it is, old man. Always you looking out for... Wacky, listen, good old man. One day, I'm gonna take you out. Then you'll see who's the OG. You trying to hide your business suit, I'll find you. Stupid geezer. Wacky. Nah, that's as it should. Mr. Kataki. I like them more without the puppy dog eyes. I'm glad to meet you. I'm not so good with words, but I know a professional job when I see one. Thank you. Oh, me? I don't think. Someday, I'll bake you one of our latest, the Kataki lime pie. Kataki lime pie. He's opening a shop? A pie shop? So long. I was right. It is baking. He was gone. Well, let's head back, Apollo. To the right anything agency. Since when do I work at your agency? Aw, we make a good team. I'll just stand there. Let's get going. Huh. Why not? She did help me out. And there's a few questions I still need answers. Like this power of mine that she showed me. My bracelet. If anyone can help me figure it out, it's her. Though I can't say I care much about her father's. Oh, that's right! We have to go someplace first. Huh? Where? To claim our reward from Mr. Aldoon? Ah, the salty noodles, right. You guys stand back already? Oh, and after that, you can go see my show. With a special appearance of the amazing Mr. Hat. Oh, it's special, alright? Please, anything but him. Thus, we have a new episode. Heard about Serenade, infamous to everyone who's played it. Because it never stops. Just like a good song. Well, that wraps up this case. I miss when they had little, like, portraits in the background. Oh well. See you next time.